Here we are in Bristol, the West Country, and look who's here. The legend that is Earl Slick. Oh,
Yeah, here I am.
been a long time, hasn't it, since we've seen each other?
Quite a long time, man.
Missed you, man. Missed you.
I haven't had enough time in Britain lately, so this is good.
How's it going? How's the book going?
Book's going great.
Fantastic.
Great.
Pleased with it?
Well received, yep. And there's plenty of bookstores here to go see it in, you know. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm happy with the book.
Good. Looking forward to tonight.
Absolutely looking forward to tonight. Well, of course, I get to talk about myself for an hour.
No wrong with that, is there? No wrong with that at all.
My name's actually Roland White. I'm Slick's editor at Penguin Random House, and it's my pleasure and privilege to have been drafted in tonight to talk to him about his remarkable career. But let me first let you know what Noel Gallagher had to say about it. I first noticed Slick at Glastonbury 2000. He was playing with Bowie. What astonished me was how many styles and genres this guy could cross and morph into something uniquely his own. From rock and roll to jazz, from pop to punk, from funk to funky, and all that mad, angular shit that doesn't have a genre but Bowie was famed for. How could one guy do it all? I left Glastonbury that night thinking that the guitar gods were not dealing these cards out evenly and that Bowie was a very lucky boy and that maybe one day I could find a guy like that to play for me. I'm still looking for that guy.
I thought it was funny. Oh, I said, just put Earl Slick on there. So that was the first time that name was used, and it stuck. And all of a sudden, in New York City, where I had made a name for myself, that was the name. So there it was. I mean, better than being called Frank Mataloni.
Yeah, if you say so.
Yeah, Frank John William Mataloni, which is really ridiculous. He seems interested because he wants a young guy that doesn't, you know, that's not going to be the typical rock star guitar player, pain in the ass guitar players as we can be. We are notorious for being pains in the asses. And he says, so get your shit together because they're going to be calling you. But he wouldn't tell me who it was. It was Bowie. And so he got me that audition. I passed the audition, and he also brought David Sanborn into the band. So Michael really was instrumental in having faith in me. And he called me every time, you know, I've done a number of records with him. I did Tim Curry, Simplicity record with him, a bunch of records. And Michael's belief in me really did, not only meant something to me, but it launched my career. Michael passed about 20 years ago, and the whole time I thought, you know, if it wasn't for Michael, I mean, I probably would have had a career because I was so driven. But boy, what a launch pad I had, and I thank Michael for that, and that's why the book's dedicated to Michael.
I'm going to be here primarily because of the amazing work you did with David Bowie in the 70s and beyond. But you were filling some pretty big shoes when you joined the band after Mick Ronson, and you came in on the tail end of the recording of Diamond Dogs, and then faced a tour like no rock musician had ever played before in North America.
I was given an address that was the RCA Recording Studios in New York City, and I expected that there would be David Bowie and there would be a band and I would be there. They gave me nothing to listen to at all. I went in on the blind, and the funny thing was is I really wasn't a Bowie fan at the time. I owned one David Bowie record. I was shuffled into a room with an amplifier and some headphones, and over the speakers a voice come over, and it was an American voice. So I said, "Oh, put the phones on," and I said, "Oh, what do you want me to do? What keys?" They said, "Don't worry about it, just play." Okay, so I plug my amp in, I stick the phones on, I play along with these tracks, which unbeknownst to me it was the Diamond Dogs album, and I was playing along before it was mixed. Maybe 20 minutes worth, and then it went dead silent. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm either fucked or they like me. I haven't really. It's one or the other. I'm either out of here really quick, or maybe I got a shot. So maybe I waited 5 minutes. It felt like an hour. And David walked in, looking scared. I never seen a grown man with his eyebrows shaved off before. It's weird. It's unnerving. It's fucking unnerving. You know, he weighed all of about 10 stone, 14, I don't know, 8 stone. I mean, he was pencil thin. And he was really nice. And we sat down, and I always carried a bottle of brandy inside my jacket. I had really long hair, and we were both holding powder in our pockets. We compared powder qualities, had a couple of drinks. He picked up a guitar. We played for maybe, actually, we did that longer than the actual audition part was. And we hit it off, and then his assistant said, well, we got about a dozen guys to look at, and we'll get back to you after we do that. And the phone rang the next day. And it was his assistant saying, David would love you to join the band. Can you meet up at the hotel? And I went up, and I was hired. And that's how that kind of all started. So like Station to Station, the title track, it was 3 different songs that somehow were glued together to actually make some kind of sense. And the mindset at the time is, I'm not even sure how intentional it was, but we were doing stuff that was pretty, at the time, was pretty much on the outside. It really was. There was some weird stuff on that record, but it came natural to me to do it because David was pushing me. He was taking what my R&B and blues chops were, and pushing me into directions that expanded my horizons and stuff like that. And you know, at the end of the day, that record was kind of the end of his pop stuff and the beginning of, I mean, if it wasn't for Station, there wouldn't be Low, there wouldn't have been Heroes. Station was the beginning of David's mindset. And in all actual fact, and I always say to people, you know, kids, don't try this at home, but a volcano, what to do with that? There's something about not sleeping or eating for 3 days in a row and locking yourself in a studio. You will come up with some cool shit. Or you will come up with the worst shit you've ever played in your life. We got lucky, you know, and it turned out the way it did. And to this day, out of all of the records that I did with David, I'm the most proud of that. First of all, that I actually lived through the goddamn thing. I mean, because David would book the studio, and we'd show up, and where is he? Oh, he's going to be late. 2 days later, he'd show up, right? And then once he showed up, you knew you were going to be in there for a really long time.